Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we're taking a look at the strange sounds heard all around the planet. Little eerie, and some artifacts found that shouldn't be there. And a special guest joins us to talk about a strange map from the 1500s on Antarctica. Up next on Talk is Cheap. Talk is cheap, where cheap is talk, and talk is cheap. I am Dan Hohlfeld, and with me as always,
Dusty Long, and special guest today,
Peter Halbleib.
Pete, thanks for coming on.
Hey, no problem.
I think we're going to have Pete on for a few weeks here and see how it goes, and maybe he'll like to do this forever with us.
We'll see, being the first time, we'll see how it goes. So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
It's going to be good to have that third person, I think. You guys had it on the social fix. It gives you a little more banter back and forth. So
yeah, it is nice.
Jumping right into it here today. Did you guys ever hear about these strange sounds that were played on, or people are hearing all over the planet?
A little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I've caught it, on internet blurbs and stuff like that. Never experienced anything like that myself.
Well, we'll listen to a few of these here. The weird thing, well, I'll play one. See, what's really freaky about this shit is it almost sounds like a machine working or something.
Yeah, it changes pitches too.
Sounds like there's a cloaked alien spaceship.
Like there's gonna be a transformer popping up or something.
Yeah, the background music to a sci-fi show or something like that.
But I was reading this article here, and it basically says, well, one scientist's take on it is it has to do with under Earth, whatever, magma or something, and it's getting ready for a pole shift. One guy even theorized.
As stuff is settling and repositioning.
Yeah. That's one theory on it.
Yeah. You'd think they'd be able to somehow pinpoint the origin of that with all the seismic detectors that are just placed all around the United States.
Yeah.
They can have 1.0 earthquakes that they can track and find exactly where they start. You'd think that something like this would get picked up on that.
That's no shit because seismic waves and sound waves, they're just a wave that you're measuring. So ultimately this is coming from the center of the Earth. You would think we'd have a way to do just that.
Yeah,
kind of figure out where it's coming from. Or
some of these I think are fake. Personally, I think this one right here is faked.
I thought the other one.
Listen to how good the sound quality is already. Well, it tells me what he did there is he just has his video and he just overlaid it into a video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the problem. You're gonna find stuff where everybody wants to make these fake videos, and it's this is probably something really going on, and now people are just faking it.
Yep.
He is has somebody else out there looking up at this guy
It
too,
could be
though.
his friend.
That's true. I'm just.
Yep.
When I was listening to it, you can hear how shitty the audio of the camera is, but that sound wave itself is really good quality.
It's like construction or something on the highway.
And he's offering up some kind of ludicrous explanation about construction.
Yeah, we got good bass off of that shitty camera microphone. No.
Now that's way too far from that.
I don't think that one's real, personally. This one...
Is this the one from Russia? Yeah, this is the one I'm familiar with.
I have a couple concerns about this one, though.
Notice the similarities between all three so far.
say, yeah.
They're very similar in sounding, which is kind of unique.
Since I got these drawing tools, I'm going to use them for the first time ever on the show.
Hell
Oh,
yeah!
very good.
I'm so happy. Can we
There's
draw
a person,
face?
I think she's walking right down in here. Or she's over here. Anyway, you'll see her walk on the street here, that way. Not stopping or anything,
'Cause
so
of the
that
noise?
kind of makes me feel like this might be fake.
Or maybe she's just like, fuck it, I want to get home and pet my cats.
There she is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't miss a beat, did she?
You know, the other thing too is there's balconies. Nobody's out on the balconies looking.
Yeah. And you kind of have to ask yourself too, how would you react to something like
Right.
this? I suppose I would stop and look at the sky
Yeah.
and
That sounds like a fucking like monster or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think they're all fake. And here's the reason why I say it though. Everything that I've read, and I haven't read too much, on these humming and booming and noises, the ones that I actually believe are true though, aren't these weird sounds that we're hearing now. It's more of a hum, and it's more of a constant hum. And on top of that, it's at a certain frequency somewhere, so like not everyone can hear it. These to me sound synthetic. It sounds like someone overlaid it or something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, like I said, that second
Yeah.
one was.
yeah, and that's the challenge with anything nowadays. You find on the internet, videos with CGI, with overlays. You
Oh,
really
yeah.
have to approach it from a really skeptical standpoint because they can make it look so real now. With very little training, and all the equipment's getting cheaper. Everybody's getting it in their hands.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I do when I see this stuff is you try to pick out the consistencies between the stories and hopefully over time you'll see reports of this and videos of this pop up all over the world, and you're going to see like the same sort of anomalies happening. And of course, I'm not like a statistical guru or anything, but after a while, when you get enough of a population, either you've got a very well coordinated group of people globally that are hoaxing the same type of thing, or you've got yourself an actual event that people are picking up.
Right.
Which is true. At the same time, was crop circles. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone.
Do you think those are fake?
Oh my
I
god!
think they're
I've seen videos where they've done it in 2 hours in a night.
Yep.
How big was it though?
Huge, and it was very intricate. I mean, and the guys in
It had to
England.
take a lot of planning though. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Probably planned it out.
But if you notice, they're all geometric shapes, so it's easy to plan and it's easy to do. I mean, really, all they do is create a circle and then they figure out where they're going to go.
And they have like a rope hook in the middle, and then they just let
Yep,
out a
they
little more.
walk the
Yeah.
rows in and out. But to Dan's earlier point, he said, we take a naturally occurring phenomena or an unnaturally occurring phenomena, and then we get copycatters.
Yeah.
So, of all of the thousands of crop circles that have been found and discovered, it just takes one to be authentic, and the phenomena is
I
real.
hear the real ones. Like if you walk out, you actually feel like a frequency change in you. It's like you feel higher.
Allegedly, some have
Maybe
claimed.
the same frequency on the videos.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all connected.
Allegedly, they've detected radioactivity at some of the crop circle sites, and supposedly the genuine ones, they're bent over, not broken.
Oh, yeah, that was the other one.
Yeah, they have a
and
bulbous.
so-
yeah, I've seen some of those things. I don't know.
yeah,
And that's the thing. If we're gonna have these people that are hoaxing it, then, as a skeptic, it's gonna be like, yeah, I can see
That's
it,
the other
and then all of a
thing.
sudden it's like, nah, I can't. I don't believe
Government
it.
would throw people out there to hoax it, to throw people off too.
yep.
Well, I mean, that is true.
And that's
Because
how they do it. They'll throw so many wackos in it that
Yeah.
suddenly every real one is just dismissed out of hand
Yeah.
because of look at how this crazy person did this or this person did that, and it's a beautiful way to cover up a real unexplained phenomena that's occurring.
Yeah.
It's true.
My final point I want to point out here is what's kind of creepy about this. If one of these is real, which it very well could be, like in the Bible, it says the trumpets and all that stuff. So when you tie it to that, it's kind of crazy. You see you laughing over there. What's your take?
As much shit as I've ever heard tied to the damn Bible and all this, well, the trumpets will sound and everyone, the rapture, all this, you know what? The only thing I like about the Bible is it says a man came from the sky and told him what to do. Well, there's your alien in the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I don't know, trumpets and that type of shit. But hey, teach their own. And
Flaming
that's,
chariots across the sky.
a burning
and things
damn
like-
bush. I mean, really, someone could have threw a cigarette out, and I don't know, but. But then again, I suppose if you want to tie that into the aliens thing that I believe in, most of us do, then yeah, I mean, I could see that. But why would they sound horn? This is like, I'm going to honk the horn before I blow up your place, or I'm going to attack you. So I mean, ultimately, I don't. When it comes to these noises, I think there's more of a natural phenomenon going on.
Well, the
than
thing is,
something else, but-
these are pretty early. Nothing's really has happened, like any big devastation or anything. So
No, I mean, true. I'm
What
not
was
going to
this
deny
back?
it.
Well,
This one was
unless you want
2012.
to talk about, the tens of thousands of people dying in the Middle East, the famines and floods all over the world. I mean, we haven't knocked back 50% of the global population yet. But,
Oh yeah, we're trying though. I
yeah,
mean,
we're doing our
that's the
damnedest
whole
to do
plan
it.
there.
Yeah,
Georgia guys.
yeah, that's a whole nother conversation right there.
That's another show later.
All right, I guess that's about all I had for that one. So,
All right. Well, I thought that was really excellent. I really did. And
like I said, there might be something to it. It just takes that one, like Pete said.
Yeah. I mean, we could walk outside tonight and experience that.
That's true.
And
Very true.
there would be no way that we would think that
and
someone was hoaxing us.
and I've actually walked out when I lived in Tulsa. I heard a very large bang. I mean, being in the service and everything else, I've heard explosions and whatnot. And this struck me as more of a sonic blast. So I thought, I don't know, I'll walk outside on the porch, and I live right in, right outside Tulsa, Broken Arrow, which is this far away. So, but it wasn't a big busy night. Nothing was going on. So I thought maybe it was a car wreck because you hear something and it's a big bang. But this is a boom. I remember going out there and looking around, and the first thing I thought was, I know the comets or asteroids will come in, they explode, just like we saw in Russia, and they make a sound wave. And I didn't see nothing, and then I started talking to some friends and whatnot, and they're like, I didn't hear nothing. I'm like, well, this son of a bitch was loud enough to shake my windows.
See, I think somebody shot that down.
What,
That one over Russia.
That's a show. That's a whole other show.
Oh yeah.
Because I was actually looking at that,
Well,
Joe.
one
Come
of those just hit 5 years ago over by Richland Center that came up, and it exploded in the sky and dropped all these flaming bits. There were grass fires everywhere.
No shit.
Yeah, it was right after
How
I
long
first
ago?
in 2010. I had just moved here, and I was staying with a buddy just west of Viroqua, and we were outside playing frisbee at night. I have a light up frisbee, and all of a sudden, the sky lit up, and we heard what we thought was thunder. Well, come to find out the next day that meteor had come through and exploded, and it shattered windows in Richland Center, and it rained down, literally rained down flaming hunks of rock. The Viola Fire Department was one of the responding departments, and they got out there, and they thought they were dealing with arson because they were in the woods, and it was all of this patchy fires. It wasn't just one line of fire.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't obviously to the extent of the Russian one, but it
It
does
happens.
happen.
Yeah. Why aren't we out there with metal detectors finding asteroid pieces right now?
People flocked in from all over the Midwest to come
sons of
and find chunks.
done with.
Yeah,
ruined my day.
yeah, and they were finding pieces.
Oh
so-
yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be excellent.
Huh.
I'd love to have some of them. All right, well, I am covering the video is World's 10 strangest out of place artifacts. The one I'm going to cover is because I kind of believe that we were once an advanced civilization before we had some kind of calamity or whatever, and now we're being reborn to more advanced. So I do a lot of research on out of place artifacts, and this one I picked only because it's so old. It's kind of hard to be like, okay, that's is placed there or something else. This one's really old. Not one of my favorite ones. There's the one in Paris, France that I love, and a couple other things. But Paris, France, Texas actually. But this one I like an awful lot because it has a really old date to it. Kind of proves my point. So I'll show you the video right quick. There we go.
I think it's mostly just music.
Yeah, it is. It's just tag or this.
So if you want to talk over it too, whatever.
Yeah, so this is a curious and unknown vessel that was blown out of the solid pudding stone, which I don't know what the hell that is, 15 feet below the surface. But either claimed as antique metal art from the first inhabitants of Dorchester or as old Indian pipe holder. That's the actual photo of it. The reason that made such a bell-shaped object get into the rock dated between 570 to 593 million years ago remain unclear. That is... Now this is, like I said, one of the best examples of the things I truly believe in. We're finding metal bells and all sorts of these artifacts. And these aren't just it's a bone. These are handmade, intricate metalwork. And there's another one on this one actually that has a piece of aluminum. It looked like a aluminum strap that was found with mastodon bones, and it's dated back to I don't know how far along before, but we didn't discover aluminum until 18 something, I believe.
Aluminium.
Aluminium. I love those Brits.
I think it's actually quite more recent than the 1800s. I'd have to check, but I don't even think it's aluminum's been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you I can find it right here. Yep. I'm gonna show this one too. Why not? This is the top of the bones, the mastodon bones we're talking about. 300 years old.
1807.
Okay, so I
Yep.
stand corrected then. 1800, yep.
I mean, so again, we're coming across. Damn you! Okay, we're coming across these artifacts that are way out of place. And, I mean,
Well,
bowls of bells.
they're finding screws, machined screws in rocks that are dating millions of years old.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and yeah,
That's on this one too.
yeah, and they're finding like kind of I believe spark plugs, not like modern spark plugs, but
Yep.
early version spark plugs in rocks that are millions of years
Millions of
old.
years
Have either of you come across in your, I guess, research and travels where they found human skeletons in coal?
Yes.
And with totally the calcium's been replaced by coal, and coal's millions of years
old. Yep.
years old as well, I guess that, humans now have been, the science just came out like a month or so ago and said, we found some more old ancient human species bones that put our lineage back now another 100 million years or whatever.
really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But there's some really weird stuff that people are pulling out of the ground.
Well, I totally believe. I can't prove it. I don't have any way to say that this is it. But the artifacts really prove it to me. I honestly believe that 300 million years ago, there was an advanced civilization on this planet. Only because of these artifacts. I really don't have anything else for it. But maybe there was an extinction. Because we're on our 6th extinction right now. I think I was just reading an article.
Yeah, the scientists are believing
Yeah.
that we're into our sixth greatest mass extinction on the planet.
I mean, how many? That's 6, and we've only been around for such a finite amount of time on this planet that you can't tell me it's not a possibility. And I'd like to see what happens if there's more about it. And again, the government, like the giants that I keep talking about too, and all this, these other races, the damn government's gonna cover it up because they wouldn't want us to know that we were probably the pets.
Yeah,
So they don't know.
The reptilians.
I was going to say, it puts a little more credit to the reptilian aliens and stuff that maybe, they've been around a lot longer than mammals have, and maybe they've taken off already once.
So what you're saying is it's a hollow Earth and there's reptilians in the middle of it. Is that what we're gonna know? I'm just.
We'll see when
There's
reptilian
many
one.
tunnels under the earth.
yeah, when they come to the surface to enslave us all, we'll know then for sure.
But they'll be
that's happening.
cold-blooded, wouldn't they?
They just found the first warm-blooded fish, so who knows?
Yeah, it's like you don't really know what you think you know.
Yep, absolutely.
That is true. That's why we do this show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Open minds and eyes.
just to get you thinking about it.
Got
One
questions, demand answers.
One thing I want to throw in for you guys to wrap your minds around when we talk about out-of-place artifacts and finding modern artifacts in seemingly millions and millions of year-old materials, there's another theory or phenomena out there, time slippage. And you could even go into time travel. Now,
we covered that earlier.
You can kind of talk about them interchangeably. But when people think of time travel, they think there's somebody that gets on that special pad and punches up the buttons and off they go. But time slippage is a little bit different. That there's been reports dating back hundreds of years of people that claim to have been taken back in time or in the future for several days, up to several years, and then return to their time frame. So they didn't control it. They had no idea what was happening.
Right.
But that could be another explanation that all of a sudden people slip back in time. There's thousands of people a day disappear on the planet, with no trace.
Oh,
and so
But that's for another show.
Yeah, it is.
And we've actually covered some of that too, which is interesting. And when it comes to these things, what's nice about the topics that we cover is we can hit them again and again because there's always more. And we've talked about time travel and the time slippage.
Yep.
And I suppose I could see that. You know, maybe that's where all my fucking socks go from the
Yeah,
dryer.
yeah,
Someone's gonna open up a tomb in Egypt, and there'll be 1,000 socks, and they'll all be mine because apparently I can never pair up socks after I'm done. So, yeah, or people losing the keys.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the keys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, all right. Well, that was mine. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Pete.
Oh, great, awesome.
Oh wait, I didn't. Well, I'm sure you know how to work a computer. You would think.
Yeah, well.
Unless you're an Apple guy, you might.
No, I'm not. Which one is
I gotta get that jab in there just a little.
Awesome. It's kind of nice, Dusty, because you talked about the possibility of advanced civilizations rising and then falling. What I'm going to talk about a little bit here is old maps that show an ice-free Antarctica.
Oh, okay. I've done some research on this.
In all of modern times, recent times, Antarctica's been covered with ice, right? Well, in the 1500s, a map maker pulled together some old, some archived maps to create a new map, and the detail of this is astounding because it shows an ice-free coastline of Antarctica that goes in several miles. It shows settlements on it and animal species that can be found there, and by all practical purposes, there was no technology available with ships.
Well, what year are we talking about?
Well, in 1500, the map was created based on, I believe it's 20 other source maps, okay? Some that dated back to like the ancient Roman era time, that maps that they had taken from there. And I think scientists or somebody discovered it in the 1800s or something like that. And I got a video here that explains it a little bit better. But it's kind of mind-blowing because when you look at it, Antarctica was supposedly, the last time it didn't have ice on its coast was like 6,000 and 9,000 BC, a time where, oceanic travel was not supposed to be possible. And so I'll go ahead and play the video here, and it's about a minute and a half. I might stop it partway through if we get the gist.
In 1929, rolled up on a dusty shelf in a library in Constantinople in Turkey, a map was found. This map had been drawn in 1513 by a Turkish admiral, Admiral Reis. The strange thing about this map is it shows features of the Earth that nobody in 1513 should have been able to know.
Before the 18th century, sailors ran the risk of crushing their ships onto rocky coastlines because they lacked one thing, the ability to calculate longitude. For that, you need an extremely accurate clock. It wasn't until 1790 that the first accurate marine timepiece was invented, and sailors could pinpoint their position on the seas. Yet 250 years before this clock was made, Reis had drawn a map which showed the coastlines of Africa and South America within half a degree of longitude.
Half a degree of
And
longitude.
Reis himself told us that knowledge was not his knowledge. It was knowledge that he borrowed and copied from earlier maps. And he stated on the map that it was based on more than 20 source maps, and that some of these maps went back to the time of Alexander the Great, or even earlier, in other words, to before the time of Christ.
Look at that, it shows settlements on
Where
it,
did these source maps come from? Who charted the globe long ages ago?
Yeah, that'd be
Accuracy that we ourselves can hardly match today.
a lot of work back then for the technology.
I've actually read a couple articles on this map and others like it. And my favorite one, I think it was Ancient Aliens, or one of those shows that I watched.
Okay.
And they turn the map sideways. And they show it to be the Horn of Africa or something else. And so they're trying to say we're looking at it wrong.
Oh, okay.
But the problem I have with that is when they turn it sideways, the damn language is sideways now. So, I mean, it's not like, I'm going to draw this map and then turn it sideways and write the instructions on how to use it. It doesn't really make sense. However, it's still very
absolutely,
interesting.
and I would challenge that statement with, well, then what the hell was Africa doing covered in snow, at that time frame, where were the glaciers in Africa?
Yeah.
So, it really, like with everything we're talking about, we come up with more questions than answers, right?
True, yeah, very true.
And it's one of those things that I find just absolutely mind-blowing because it ties in with all of this other stuff. ancient advanced civilizations. You could talk about Atlantis, all the other ones, alien visitors, what have you. But when you start looking at these individually and then start thinking about how they kind of fit in, maybe it's like a little bit of a square peg in a round hole, but maybe you can whittle it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, and I think it's part of the reason why I have such an interest in this type of subject matter anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love this stuff. You do know about that book, right? That has all the plants and stuff in it. It's in a language we can't understand, and all the plants that the man is painstakingly drawn in watercolor and whatnot don't exist on this earth. And we can't break the code and the language, and we don't know where the hell these plants come from. And this book was found in some dusty shelf
awesome.
somewhere.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting the stuff they find in these libraries. You know.
One other comment about the map as well, and we can even take the ice-free Antarctica discussion and set it off to the side. But maps dating to potentially before Christ, so 2,000 years ago or more, that had capable timepieces.
Oh yeah.
To track the longitude, as was described, the star charting and all that stuff. Or I guess I'm not a sailor, so I'm not sure how it works. But within a half a degree of accuracy, even in the 1500s, that's an amazing feat.
Oh, yeah.
And for this guy to say, "Oh, I borrowed maps that were over 1,000 years old, and this is where I got it," mind blown, right?
Really,
it's
true.
It's crazy.
Oh, and that is the point that I like the most out of that. Whether or not the maps, is Antarctica, it's that he sourced these maps that far ago. And you're right, that high level of accuracy is amazing. And there's a lot of places like that. Well, hell, we just tried rebuilding the pyramids with modern technology not too long ago, and we could only do like a small scale. So you have these things that don't make sense, and we can't explain it with our modern.
Yep.
And that's what pisses me off, though, is we were like, oh, well, we're modern technology, we know everything, so you're stupid and you're a conspiracy theorist or everything else. But then they can't explain the questions that we have. They can't answer them. So I don't know. That's why I like this topic so much, is because it's unanswered.
You're constantly battling modern human arrogance whenever you approach subjects like this, because we supposedly know everything, we have everything figured out, and then when something gets flipped, and that was different. Yeah, that was different. Then
I'm gonna make them all look stupid as shit.
Yeah,
it's true though. But
that's
an excellent one. I like
a year ago, if you would have said, "Oh, I know that there's a warm-blooded fish," you would have been laughed out of the room.
Oh,
and
sure,
now today we've got it.
Yeah, there's a catfish that eats wood in the Amazon. Mind blown. That was like River Monsters. Like, what the fuck? He eats
Just
wood?
to sharpen the teeth, or
No, I guess it's a wood-eating catfish.
Catfish.
Yeah,
that's all he eats?
I get. He
Or
likes
maybe
his wood.
again, a story for another show, right?
I swear that I think that's what the guy said, and I swear that's what it was, and I was like, well, I know. But then we have living fossils, which is probably another show too. But we have the living fossils with fish that they've just found. I was talking to you about it, wasn't I, Andy? About that fish that was 200 million years old. We only have the skeleton of it, and there are two divers are off the coast of Australia, I believe. And they
Came across one?
Yeah, this big fish just rolls up. They're like, shit, folks, but I think that thing's supposed to be dead.
Yep.
It's a prehistoric animal that's sitting there, like, finally decided to make a debut, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how things come and go, I guess.
And that's what that stuff really kind of holds a little bit of water, no matter how much they try to disprove it, until you can do it at 100%. Like crop circles, for me, I can't disprove that you like them. I say, well, I've seen them man-made 100 times.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I don't believe that it could be, but I don't understand. If aliens are out there and watching this, please don't put shit in a crop circle. Just write us a note or get on TV. I'm sure they know how to, overpower CNN.
They've done that with a radio one. That's for another show.
I'm excited for that one then. Yeah.
Can we just skip ahead of that? That sounds really interesting.
I can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, it's great. Just there's so much to talk about.
Oh yeah, we come back next week then,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Witness it for the world.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been Talk is Cheap. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, and we'll see you guys next time.
I got a lot more that are like, for me, they're more concrete.
Shit.
Holy
Fix that after we keep
shit!
going.
Are you sure? I don't want to do this video anymore.
We got pillars falling down.
Maybe I should pick a different video. Maybe that's a sign.
I'll take it.
We don't want to fix it though, huh? We're gonna let it.
Unless you want to cut.
Ernie will cut anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I knew Dano wasn't happy.
I'm a perfectionist.
So what are you going to
The
start?
man walks in with duct tape. I love it.
Oh, is the hay?
He is ready.
This falls a second time? I don't know.
For the second time, we're gonna just have to hire somebody to sit back there and hold it.